You know what the biggest nightmare for property buyers in Dubai is? Putting down a massive deposit on your dreams home only to get rejected for a mortgage, and then watching that deposit vanish into thin air. And trust me, I've seen it happen way too many times. But here's what most people don't realize. It's not just about having money. In Dubai, even millionaires get rejected for mortgages every single day. And why? The mortgage system here has hidden traps that catch even the most financially savvy investors. Imagine this, you've found your perfect Paul Jumeirah apartment you've put down for a 500k dirham deposit. You've already mentally decorating the place, and then boom, mortgage denied, deposit gone, dreams crushed. And the real estate market in Dubai is booming and the government is supporting it, of course. But if you make these mortgage mistakes, you can forget about your financial dream home. And everything is actually very simple when you know the rules, and that's exactly what I'm going to share with you today. Hi, I'm Arturo from Emifast, and we help entrepreneurs maximize their income and minimize taxes with smart global relocation strategies. And you can find more about us on our website at emifast.com to explore all our resources, or obviously talk with one of our consultants. We're happy to help. Now, let's talk about Dubai mortgages and why so many people get them wrong. First, let's clear something up. Is getting a mortgage in Dubai actually worth it? Well, in most cases, absolutely yes. And here's why. Dubai is one of the few global financial hubs with zero property taxes, zero income taxes, and relatively low interest rates. Plus, the right property purchase can directly lead to residency through investment visas or the Golden Visa program. But here's what nobody tells you. The mortgage process here is completely different from Europe, the UK, or the US. And in Dubai, your approval doesn't just depend on your income or credit score. It depends on a more complex web of factors that most expats don't even know exist. And mistake number one is this: focusing only on the interest rate. And this is probably the most common mistakes I see, especially from Europeans and Americans who are used to mortgage shopping based on rates alone. And the reality is that the lowest interest rate often hides the worst deal. And let me explain with a real example from one of our clients. Alex was looking for two mortgage offers. Bank A offered 3.5% fixed for 1 year, while Bank B offered 3.9% fixed for 1 year. And naturally, he wanted to go with Bank A, but when he dug deeper, we found out that Bank A was charging a 1.5% arrangement fee upfront, mandatory life insurance that was 40% more expensive, and a massive early settlement penalty, and also hidden charges for everything from statement insurances to payment modifications. And meanwhile, Bank B had only a 1% arrangement fee, competitive insurance rate, just 1% early settlement fee, and much more flexibility for payments and modifications. So when we calculated the total cost over 5 years, Bank B was actually about 65,000 dirhams cheaper, despite the higher headline rate. And that's not even considering the flexibility value. If you ever want to sell or refinance early, those penalties can cost hundreds of thousands. So remember, in Dubai, look at the total cost of borrowing, not just the interest rate. And let me bust a myth right away. I've never lived in the UAE before, so I don't have a credit history here. Wrong. The UAE has the Al Ittihad Credit Bureau, AECB, which tracks not just your local credit history, but also pulls information from international databases. Even past residents who left years ago are still in that system. And we had a client who lived in Dubai for 6 months back in 2018, missed a payment on a small credit card, and then left the country. And when he returned in 2024 to buy a property, that missed payment was still there. And it cost him 0.5% on his mortgage rate. That's a lot. That's around 75,000 dirhams over the life of his loan. For one missed payment from years ago, it's crazy. And it gets worse. Having high credit card limits, even with zero balance, can hurt you, and multiple credit inquiries with a short period will damage your score. Even being a guarantor on someone else's loan affects your mortgage eligibility. And the system here works completely different than what most experts are used to, so be careful of that. So before you apply for a mortgage, get your AECB report, and it will cost around 150 dirhams. clear any outstanding debts, close unused credit cards or reduce limits, and avoid applying for new credit at least for 3 to 6 months. And remember, in Dubai, your credit worthiness isn't just not having debt, it's about having a clean, simple credit profile that makes banks comfortable. Another scenario I see way too often is that someone falls in love with a property, negotiates a price, signs a memorandum of understanding, pays a deposit, and then approaches banks for financing. And this is completely backwards in Dubai. In Dubai, different banks have different policies about which buildings they finance, what loan to value ratios they offer, and what income types they accept, and what nationalities they prefer also. So you need to know this before you start property hunting. Without pre-approval, you're essentially gambling with your deposit. And we had a client, successful business owner from Germany, who put down a 400,000 dirham deposit on a JBC apartment, and he assumed financing would be easy since he had millions on the bank. But because if income was primarily from dividends, which most UAE banks treat differently than salary, he couldn't get financing. So he lost the entire deposit, and pre-approval would have prevented this entirely because it gives you a clear understanding of your actual budget. Also, knowledge of which property you can actually finance, a stronger negotiation position with sellers, and also protecting from losing your deposit. So pre-approval is usually free and takes 2 to 3 days with the right documents. So please do not look at properties before getting pre-approved, only if it's for motivation purposes. It's like test driving a Ferrari when your budget is for a Toyota and you're just getting yourself up for a disappointment or worse, financial loss. Dubai's property market moves fast and there is huge pressure to make quick decisions, but rushing into a purchase without proper inspection is a massive mistake. So this is another one. Before buying, you need to thoroughly check the water damage and mold, especially in the bedrooms and kitchen. Examine AC systems. Replacement, for example, can cost 50,000 dirhams if it gets crazy. Also, test electrical systems and plumbing. Inspect building common areas and facilities, and renew outstanding service charges on the property. So don't trust what the seller or agent there tells you. Hire a professional inspector who works for you, not them, guys, and visit the property at different times a day. That quiet apartment might be sitting directly above a nightclub that opens at 10 p.m. I don't want that if I'm sleeping and need to work tomorrow. I had a client who bought a perfect GLT apartment without proper inspection, and 2 weeks after moving in, the AC completely failed, 35k for replacement costs, and because the AC was over 5 years old, it wasn't covered by building warranty. So the service you need is called a snagging service, and they'll check all these things for you before. It might cost you a few thousand dirhams before, but that's nothing compared to what you could end up paying to repairs later. And last, when you're an investor, you might recognize this mindset. If I apply to 5 banks at once, I'll get the best offer. Well, this strategy might work in some countries, but in Dubai, it's financial suicide, I can tell you that. Every time you apply for a mortgage, it creates a hard inquiry on your EECB credit report, what we already talked about. Multiple inquiries in a short period drastically lower your credit score. But it gets worse. Banks in the UAE share information with each other, and if they see you've applied to multiple lenders, they assume either you're desperate and have been rejected for elsewhere, or you're just shopping around and wasting their time. Either way, you just reduce your chances of approval and potentially increase your interest rate. The right approach is to work with someone who knows which bank is most likely to approve your specific situation and apply there first. If it doesn't work, wait a bit before trying the next best option. And this strategic approach will give you the best chance of success. So there you have it, guys. The 5 deadly mortgage mistakes people make in Dubai. And first, focusing only on interest rate without considering total cost. Remember, the headline rate means nothing if they hammer you with fees and penalties. Second, ignoring your credit history and worthiness. The AECB knows more about your financial past than you think, so always check your report first. Third, skipping pre-approval before property hunting. So never ever put down a deposit until you know the bank will finance that specific property for you. Fourth, not properly inspecting properties before buying, always use a professional snagging service to avoid expensive surprises later, and fifth, applying to multiple banks simultaneously. It seems smart, but actually destroys your approval chances. So avoid these mistakes and you will already be ahead of 95% of property buyers in Dubai. And at Emifast, we have helped already hundreds of clients navigate this complex landscape, secure the best financial terms, and build wealth through strategic property investment. And by the way, we have a fantastic real estate partner who specializes in helping expats navigate in Dubai's property market, and they know exactly which properties match your mortgage eligibility and can save you tons of time and headaches. So drop a comment below if you'd like their contact information, and they have helped already a lot of clients to find their perfect Dubai property without the typical pitfalls. So if you want personalized help with your Dubai business or property purchase, visit us at emifast.com to book a consultation with our team, and it's for free. And if you found this video helpful, smash that like button, subscribe for more insights, and drop a comment below with any question you have. We're here to read and answer them all. Thank you for watching again, and I'll see you in the next video.